You dream of making it. You imagine the big win, the successful company, the life-changing investment. You picture the freedom, the security, the moment you can finally relax. But what if getting rich isn't the hard part? Most people assume that if you're smart enough to get wealthy, you're smart enough to keep it. But that's not quite right. And the real reason so many fortunes disappear is because getting money and keeping money are two completely different skills. Getting money requires taking risks. It demands optimism. It forces you to put yourself out there. But keeping money requires the opposite. It requires humility. It requires a fear that what you've made can be taken away just as fast. And this isn't just theory. In October of 1929, the stock market crash ruined countless fortunes. One was Abraham Germansky, a multimillionaire real estate developer. He was last seen on Wall Street tearing a ticker tape to pieces before he vanished forever. But the same crash made Jesse Livermore one of the richest men in the world. He had boldly bet against the market. In one day, he made the equivalent of $3 billion. Livermore was a genius at getting wealthy, but he was terrible at staying wealthy. Overflowing with confidence, he made larger and larger bets until he lost everything. Broke and ashamed, he eventually took his own life. They were two sides of the same coin. Two men who mastered the art of getting rich, but never learned the art of staying rich. But that's only half the story. And honestly, what comes next is even stranger, because the secret to staying wealthy isn't just about avoiding stupid risks, it's about survival. Michael Moritz, the billionaire head of Sequoia Capital, was once asked why his firm was so successful. He said, "I think we've always been afraid of going out of business. Not growth, not brains, survival. The ability to stick around for a long time without wiping out or being forced to give up is what makes the biggest difference." And here's what that means. The entire secret of wealth is tied to compounding. But compounding needs one thing to work its magic: time. A lot of time. Getting and keeping extraordinary growth requires surviving all the unpredictable ups and downs that everyone inevitably experiences. Warren Buffett didn't get carried away with debt. He didn't panic and sell during the 14 recessions he's lived through. He didn't burn out. He survived. And survival gave him longevity. 40 years ago, there was a third investor in his group, Rick Guerin. Buffett said Rick was just as smart as he and Charlie Munger were, but he was in a hurry. During the downturn of 1973, Rick was using debt. He got a margin call, and he was forced to sell his Berkshire Hathaway stock to Buffett. He was wiped out. Rick was good at getting wealthy. Warren was good at staying wealthy. But there's another layer to this. And it might be the strangest part of all. It comes down to a barbelled personality. You need to be optimistic about the future, but paranoid about what will prevent you from getting to the future. Most people are good at one of these. Very few are good at both. Sensible optimism is a belief that the odds are in your favor over time. But you also know the path between now and then is filled with misery, chaos, and landmines. More than you want big returns, you must want to be financially unbreakable. If you're unbreakable, you'll actually get the biggest returns because you'll be able to stick around long enough for compounding to work wonders. The person with enough cash to endure hardship has an edge over the person who gets wiped out when they're wrong. Game over. There is no reset button. So here's what actually happens when people get rich and lose it all. Getting money required optimism and risk, but keeping it required the opposite skill: paranoia and fear. They never learned that the most important part of the plan is planning on the plan not going according to plan. They never realized the real prize wasn't growth, it was endurance, because endurance is what lets you survive long enough for the odds to fall in your favor. It wasn't one thing, it was everything all at once. The world is full of people who are good at getting rich. But capitalism is unforgiving. Getting money is one thing, keeping it is another. The ability to hold on to your wealth, to survive the chaos, is the skill that matters most. It's the only way to ensure that the story of what you built gets to have a second chapter.